you notice we're not standing at the memorial site we're going to be touring through, because Dachau, I mention this because when we think of the word Dachau, we often think of where we're headed, right? This memorial site, the former concentration camp that's here, but if you look here, it says a warm welcome to the city of Dachau. So a lot of people don't know this is a city, a small city of about 55,000 people here, outside of Munich, suburb of Munich, the most expensive city in Germany, and it's becoming quite expensive out here as well. It used to be, it still is, but the old city of Dachau is here. It was about 9,000 people until the 1930s, about that time. And you've been going around Munich, beautiful city, old city, about 800 some years old. Dachau is over 1,200 years old, over 400 years older than Munich. But we don't know a lot about that history for the most part, unless you read about it. Right? 1938, there's so many prisoners coming, and right before the war, the Nazis built the train track. And so we came up from Munich. It was about 15 kilometers, 10 miles here. Most prisoners came up that way as well. And then they would take a train that went right through here into the site, right there. And our bus will kind of take us along that same route. Now you notice there's just a couple plaques here. It says the Path of Remembrance today. There's about 12 plaques. You could walk along that and learn about different prisoners that came in. Some never even making it into the camp, dying of injuries, being beaten along the way, slapped in the face, insulted the whole time, and never even making it into those gates. We'll talk about how that introduction happened when we get there, and also we'll see where that train track ended. Right?
You said it's illegal to give...
Yeah, exactly. Illegal in Germany right now to give the Hitler salute, to deny the Holocaust, as well to fly the Nazi swastika flag.
Right.
You can't show that anywhere, that symbol. And you can't be playing or listening to songs about supporting Nazi ideas and theories. And also you cannot buy or sell Mein Kampf, Hitler's book here.
Really? Wow.
It's a very racist, anti-Semitic book. You can read it, but you can't buy or sell. Experience. They wrote down a lot of details about it, and they said absolutely not. This was one of the worst introductions you can imagine, being kicked off, thrown off the train cars, beaten with their batons and sticks, and all the way up here, you're being pushed into groups. In the early days, even walked up here. That'd be the same way, that hour walk out here. And about 20 guys die right where we're standing on these brick road here. Not even making it into this gates yet. Dying of injuries from beatings, slaps in the face, spat on, completely insulted and humiliated. And that was just a little preview of what they're going to experience just in the first couple hours.
No, you got it.
Okay, we got a very cynical statement here. The only reason this is here, hard labor sets you free. Every day, thousands, every one of these prisoners marching in and out of here, doing hard labor in military operations, working in fields, pulling plows, doing the work of like farm animals and different things. We'll talk about a few other ones they're doing. And now they march in and out of this gate. Work sets you free. Hard work brings freedom. Huh? All this was is a very cynical statement to try to humiliate them.
You could see the barracks where the prisoners were kept. This was the first concentration camp that Hitler set up in 1933. And a lot of people, when they hear concentration camp, they think, Jews were sent here. But it was actually mostly political prisoners, people who didn't agree with Hitler's views. If you disagreed with him, like a journalist, you print a bad article about him or something.
Hello.
You may be using a pseudonym, but I know you're the one writing these things, Gannick.
Morning, Mullah.
I can't print this. Your last article was bad enough. He'll destroy my presses and sabotage my business.
He won't destroy your presses. He needs them to print his paper. If anything, he'll destroy me.
You're playing a losing game, my friend.
We have a contract, Mullah. I expect you to honor it.
You're not long for this world. Who is your soul?
I wish to see my husband.
He can't be seen. He's in protective custody.
Protected from who?
His enemies.
Have you scheduled a trial date?
Why would my answer be any different today than the answer I gave you yesterday or the day before?
This is a notice from the Reich Court. It says that no charges are pending against him. If there are no charges, why can't he be released?
He's in protective custody. Next.
Frau Martha Kraus.
We will not go away. We will not go away!
Next.
The jails are filled to capacity, and their wives are causing an international ruckus. We cannot try these men and we can't release them.
Camps.
What?
What about those camps?
My dearest Sophie, I don't know when or if I will ever see you again. I don't say this to shock. I say it because I must ask one more thing of you. Please live. Thank you. Urge others to speak out, even when what they have to say is not popular. Tell them to embrace courage as a gift and pass it on to their children.
Where are we?
Just outside the village of Dachau. What are we doing here?
You have always been my hope, the promise of goodness and truth and devotion. Knowing that those qualities still survive in this world lets me leave it with a lighter heart. Don't mourn.
You're sent here and you were forced to plow the fields like an animal. You were forced to build, the prisoners had to build the barracks themselves. And I'm freezing right now, it's like 20 degrees. And I could just imagine these guys standing here for hours, having to do the work of an animal. That's why so many people died. It was slave labor.
And who were the SS, by the way? What does SS actually mean? Clarify that a little bit here. So SS, all right, I talked about already Gestapo. Nazis had a lot of organizations here. Gestapo, secret police, secret state police. The ones all over Germany, and during the war, German conquered territory, listening for people speaking out against the Nazis, being the wrong religion in their eyes, whatever it was, right? And they listened to that, turned them in through interrogation, torture, sent to camps very often. Gestapo even had offices in the building behind you, in this guard house building here. Right? Then he had the SA. I mentioned them already. That was the brown shirts, Hitler's personal army, and they numbered about 300,000 when Hitler comes to power. But then Hitler also had the SS. SS stands for Schutzstaffel, or in English this would be the Protection Squad. So the difference between, and they were called the black shirts, black uniforms. Difference between the SA and the SS, SA loyal to the Nazi party, his army for the group, right? They would guard the beer halls and different places where he gave his big speeches. The SS, when Hitler gets out of prison, he gets 9 guys originally to be his personal bodyguards, directly loyal to Hitler, right? So they were surrounding him all the time on stage and things later on, making sure Hitler survives, right, the entire time. At first, only 9 guys. They had a skull on their arms, skull and crossbones, and their hat and these big black uniforms, and underneath it said loyal to the death, directly to Hitler. But 9 guys in 1925, in 1934, it turns into about 400,000.
All right, so we are at Dachau prison camp, and we're inside it's called the bunker, which was actually the place where they put the people. They put the prisoners in this bunker if they were extra bad, if they did something really bad, or if they were had to be punished more than once, then they stuck them in here. And sometimes they wouldn't see daylight for up to 4 years.
they'd be put in that bunker we were just in because they didn't do their job correctly. If they killed the prisoner trying to escape, they got the next day off, and even more sometimes. So it encouraged to do that to the prisoners, right? So you have the guard tower here. There was one in every corner. This one's gone here. There's one in the middle. We can't see that right now, but usually every corner and in the middle of the camp. Everyone had a spotlight, a machine gun out, and an SS guard 24/7 standing there at attention, right? Waiting for a prisoner to run in here. So if they weren't committing suicide, as many prisoners saw this as an easy way to get out of it, physical, mental torture every day, they'd run into the grass or make it to the fence at that point. And they know hundreds committed suicide in the camp.
All right, we are about to enter the crematorium, which is where they would cremate the remains of prisoners who had died. And I think they said 35,000 people, the ashes of 35,000 people, basically are scattered around. You know, we're walking on them. Like the ground we're walking on was fertilized by 35,000 people's ashes. So we're going to enter the crematorium now. We just saw, over there, we just saw the barbed wire and a ditch, an electric fence which prevented people from escaping, which is down that way. But let's enter the crematorium. And this is it right here, the crematorium. Okay. So you can see how efficient everything is here. If you're going to be killing hundreds of thousands of people, you have to. It's got to be like an assembly line, the same way Henry Ford efficiently and cheaply made automobiles. The Nazis used the same system, but to kill people. You know, each room has a different purpose. It's very efficient, very smooth. Assembly line death. The first room was where they disrobed. The second room was where they were gassed. The third room is where they piled them up. And this is the fourth room, which is where they cremated the bodies. Very efficient. And here you can see the actual smoke coming out of the chimney I just filmed. Okay. Yeah, I know. So we just exited the crematorium, and you could see the chimney. So you could imagine the smell of burning flesh that would be coming out of that building, you know, for years. And it makes you wonder what the people of what the people of Dachau would have thought, you know, living in the village of Dachau, which is not far from here. They probably smelled it. I wonder what they were thinking, what they thought it was. So I think we're wrapping up the tour now, but if you look behind me, see all those trees, they weren't there 60 years ago. Instead, on both sides you had barracks, which is where all the prisoners were kept, but the Americans tore them down when they liberated this place in 1945. But that's where the barracks used to be. And you know, once the guards realized that the Americans were closing in, they left the camp, and they just left the prisoners inside dying of tuberculosis and starvation. They just left them there. So when the Americans showed up, they found, you know, just corpses rotting in the barracks and people half dead.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad